Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this webinar. The name of the webinar is Learning and Playing. Let's work in the pre-K classroom. We want to thank you for being here with us today. My name is Margarita Medina. I work for the Early Learning Coalition in Broward. I am a coach. My title is Coaching Specialist. I have 25 years of experience in early childhood education and special education. And my favorite hobbies are listening to music, dancing, and outdoor activities. In today's webinar, I have the pleasure of working with one of my coworkers. Her name is Jenny Sanchez. Jenny, are you there?
Yes, good afternoon, everybody, and thank you, Margarita. It's a pleasure for me to work with you this evening, too. Thank you so much. I'm Jenny Sanchez. I'm the Quality and Education Coaching Specialist from the Early Learning Coalition of Broward County. Like Margarita, I have 25 years of experience in early childhood education, like Margarita, too, the same years. My favorite hobbies is reading, listening to music, and dancing. I am a Zumbini trainer now. I like to sing and dance to the children. I love my family and my dog.
Thank you. And today we also have the great support of one of the managers of our program, Ms. Amy Hamui, who's going to be giving us some support to respond to some of the questions. Amy, are you there?
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here, and I will try my best to keep up with any questions and comments that you have. You can put them in the questions box. I will be there typing away.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Jenny. So before we start our webinar, some of you may know already this, some webinar housekeeping. In order to get the white panel that you see here on the right side, you need to click on the top arrow, the white arrow that is inside a red rectangle. By clicking there, you will pull this panel. If you have some questions, you will click on the last arrow where it says question. The arrow in the middle where you have to click there where it says handouts. So this is for you to upload the handouts in your computer or laptop. They are in the PDF format. Just in case you don't have a chance to upload the handouts right now, we're going to give you another opportunity to do that before we end this webinar today. And now Miss Amy is going to help us by going over a couple of some information here.
Yes, for those of you who have been in our webinars, you already know this information, but for anyone who has not been to one of our recent webinars or haven't been in for a while, just to reiterate that all of our trainings are in service hours only. Your training certificate will be emailed to you usually within 24 hours. Sometimes that's the same afternoon. It could be going out in an email. It will go to the email address that you use for your registration. That is the only email address that we will be able to send it to you, because that is what shows that you have been marked as attended. Along with that, just please make sure that you are using the GoToWebinar app on your phone or logged into GoToWebinar on your computer, because again, that is the only way that your attendance will be registered so that we can send you that certificate. Ever since July, we started implementing a pre and a post. The pre-test questions you already responded to when you registered. However, at the end of this presentation, you will get another test, which is the same 3 questions, and the training survey, which is 5 short questions. So please make sure you help us by responding to the questions and giving us your feedback on our presentations, because we do pay attention to any feedback that you give us, and we are always trying to improve the work that we do, as well as bring you information on the topics that you are interested in. So your feedback to us is very valuable. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, for this afternoon, we have the following training objectives, and we have here, maybe all of you has a question, is what is in it for me? The third objective we will accomplish this evening will be is provide content, rich, joyful learning, and imaginative play experience. Identify the importance of children learning through play and a stage of play. Define what play is and the teacher's role in learning by playing. Learn the types of play and the benefits of play. We have two statements here because play is how children begin to understanding the world. This is the most famous thing I like so much is from Albert Einstein say, play is the highest form of research. When the children, they playing, they doing a lot of investigation. And we have other second statement here from the fish philosophy, say, play, learn and grow together. When the children, they playing, they learning a lot, and it's the foundation for all learning for young children. The definition of play and benefits. Play has been called the work of children. When the children, they playing, they working. Because it's the true play that children learn how to interact in their environment, discover the interest. What is the areas of interest? Some children, they love dinosaur, cars. What is the areas? Acquire cognitive motor skill, speech, language, and social emotional skill. This is one of the definitions we find from the American Academy of Pediatrics, was from 2007. They consistent on those activities performed for self-amusement that have behavioral, social, and psychomotor reward. It is the child directed and the rewards coming from with the individual child. It is the enjoyable and spontaneous. Play need to be spontaneous. And the benefits of play are development of motor skill. They want to develop in the fine motor skill and gross motor skill, sharpening other senses, the 5 senses, expression of emotions like empathy, sharing, turn takings, harmony between them and between the self, ordering, sequence, delay of gratification, language, because they want to develop about language, developing vocabulary growth, increase concentration, flexibility, role taking, and expansion of the imagination and creativity. And they want to learning a lot when they play.
Okay, so now we're going to watch the first video, and the name of the video, the title is How to Get into Play-Based Learning. It's a part 1, and they will define what is play. As we watch this video, let's appreciate their interaction, definitions, and conversations that take place in this video. Okay, so in this video, we saw different, or the narrator talk about different attributes besides describing the meaning of play. They mentioned some attributes of play, and I just want to mention something, a couple of things very important that we hope you keep in mind. So when you are in the classroom, you put it into practice. Play has to be fun. It also has to be intentional. Intentional means you really need to know and support children on what they're doing during play. You know, the intention is, what do I want my children to learn while they are playing with a specific toy or in a specific area? Because when we are intentional and we make it fun, children will be learning different things in all the developmental areas or domains. Okay, and we also have to give children some flexibility. That doesn't mean we're going to let the class run like crazy. There's some structure, but we have to be very flexible and go with the flow and be part of it. We're going to talk a little bit more in a little while about other attributes and benefits. Jenny, is there anything you want to add?
I'm thinking you covered a lot, but we can say something too, like, like you say, play is fun. There's a connection of emotion, and children's they will developing a lot his brain and his thinking skills. Yes, Margarita.
Okay, thank you. So moving along now, we're going to see how, this is the question, how do children learn and develop through play? So we already heard that play is the key to children's learning and to their development. And sometimes we underestimate the meaning, or we don't understand the meaning of play, but really play is important to healthy brain development. It allows children to use their creativity while developing their imagination, dexterity, and physical, cognitive, and emotional strength. And we, as educators, we have to be there to support them, to guide them in the process of playing, so they could acquire different skills, be creative, and learn different things. And it is also through play that children at very early age engage and interact in the world around them. So if we are not fun, what would be the motivation for children to be in our classrooms, really? If you don't allow them to play throughout the day, they may not be interested. They get bored, and then sometimes as a result, you will have a class where you see children acting up or exhibiting behaviors that we really don't want or don't need. So we really have to be fun and include play throughout the day. The imagination and joyful play is very important. It's wonderful when we see our students when they do a make-believe. So make-believe play is important. It needs to be there. We need to incorporate materials that reflect the backgrounds, cultures, and diverse life experiences of children in our classrooms. So if you have, let's say, students from India, from Mexico, from Texas, from different parts of the world, try to have materials that reflect their cultures, ethnicity, and you have to respect them as well. You also need to have other developmentally appropriate materials, such as in the dramatic play. Very important, you need to have blocks, construction materials. Sometimes we can get these type of materials from recyclables, from home, things that maybe you don't need. Maybe you could ask parents to cooperate and bring something into your classroom. Just make sure that they are age appropriate and safe. Also materials for science, art, writing, music, and movement. And sometimes we have to be inventive because sometimes we don't have the funds to have different things. But invite children, and you and your children could create different things that you could use in different areas or centers.
Children's play. Like play is how children begin understanding and process the world. Children's play unlocks their creativity and imagination and developing all these great ideas. Sometimes play is entire child center, like we see here in this example. The child, is playing with puppets like families uh, members, and the girl is playing with a giraffe. In other situations, adults provide a scaffolding in a playful setting. In this case, the teacher want to be in charge to working with them to developing a scaffolding to nurture children emerging capabilities and knowledge, to amplify all this great knowledge. All through these examples range from a structured play to guide play and playing games. This is already in the last stage, and all play are involving learning because, like we say, the play is the vehicle of learning. When the children they playing is a foundation for all learning for young children, and giving them time and basic toys. Like here, we have a puppet, and children's day enjoying these activities. Guiding children's learning to playful experience. We need to provide them with a variety of valuable learning opportunities. And play can be through as a spectrum, including free play, guiding play, and games. This is what the definition for one of the investigators, Josh, in 2018. And children learn as they engage in instructor play and as well and the different types of play. And later on, we want to cover all different types of play and include those initiated and guided by the teacher. When we say including those initiated and guided by the teacher is because guiding children's learning to playful experience as the teacher, they need to set up the environment and they need to be well organized. And later on, we want to cover that part. And playful learning is how a whole child pedagogical approach to the promotion of academic, social, emotional, and cognitive development in the children's. Now we want to work with these components of play. Play has two components. The first component is child autonomy, and the second component want to be adult guide. But right now, we want to work in this child autonomy. Child autonomy, children direct their own play and exploration. Like we see in this example, a child has a magnifying glasses and is observing outdoor a butterfly. His interest is in butterfly, and later on the teacher can go on a scaffolding, maybe reading the book, The Very Hungry Caterpillar, the steps, how they go, the cycle of the butterfly, and can do something else. But right now, in this moment, this is only directed to the child's exploration and the child autonomy. Child direct himself, this is his interest.
The second component of play is adult guidance. So in here, the teacher sets up the environment and uses open-ended questions and suggestions to nudge children toward a learning goal while still providing children with choices. So here on the pictures, we see children are engaged in different activities and they have there the support of the teacher. And when we say the teacher sets up the environment, it doesn't necessarily mean that he has to be the one deciding on what to have in an environment. Again, invite the children to be part of it. And as adults and educators, we may have to make some choices ourselves, but it will be better if you also involve children in this process. Here, the key is to ask children open-ended questions and make suggestions. We have here, play is how children begin to understand their world. And there are two quotes here, two statements. We have two pictures on the left. What this means is how wonderful it is to be all together, understanding each other, where we come from, backgrounds, and build our world. So play helps to nurture imagination and gives a child a sense of adventure. And young children can develop many skills through play. So this is something probably that you're going to hear over and over again, because that's the message we want you guys to take. The play is really the key for learning and to grow and expand in all the developmental areas. So what we have here, what do children play with? I mean, they play with different things, different items. We know that. We posted these pictures. Children love to play with paper. And again, it's not just tearing the paper, breaking it into pieces or crumble at the paper. We have to have an intention with everything. As I said at the beginning of the presentation, the same with the keys. Just make sure it's appropriate depending on the age group you work with. I don't know if you have noticed, some of you may have noticed that sometimes children prefer to play with things like keys or knobs or handles of things in the construction instead of toys. So making an adventure, but always make sure that it's safe, whatever you use. The two pictures on the bottom, it shows how children are engaged with different items, materials, recyclables, sometimes things that we can bring from home. Again, if you don't have the funds, you could be very inventive. The idea is to have an intention with the items we use and have fun.
Creativity is a must. Creativity is a must for childcare workers and for children's. You must learning how to make use of these items you have in hands to think more like the child. I would like to think of at least 5 things you couldn't do with these items. Like we have here umbrella, we have the large box, paper and crayons, empty egg, cartoon, empty milk jug, and ball of yarn. What we can do with that? What ideas we can do with this creativity? My co-presenter Margarita and I, we was discussing about this creativity is a must. And Margarita shared a nice, a beautiful example, and all of you, you can do in the classroom. When it's a rainy day, Margarita was taking the umbrella and going outdoor herself and under the raining, and she was under the umbrella. And the children, they was observing how the umbrella was protecting Margarita from the raining. At the same time, the children, where they was drawing, painting, they was doing a collage and art craft with all these recycled materials. This is a one thing, like a one great idea, like we can do in the classroom. The children, they want to do learning about science, but at the same time, they want to learning to developing the thinking skill and the creativity with all these simple materials. Now we want to work with the 7 types of children's play. We have here 7 types. The first is attunement play, and number 2 is body play movement. Number 3, object play. Number 4, social play. Number 5, imaginative and pretend play. And number 6 is storytelling and narrative play. And number 7, creative play. Now we want to go to define one-on-one, and the first one is number 1, attunement play. Attunement play is the fundamental stage of learning for all children that occur during infancy. So that means this attunement play will occur when the child is an infant stage, it's a baby, through activities like a peekaboo, baby talk. Peekaboo, this is a great activity the parents and the caregiver, they can do, like here we see an example with a pillow, with a little empty plate, with a piece of construction paper. You want to be hiding inside and you want to say, peekaboo, and the baby want to be, talking. Parents being to establish an emotional connection with the infant. That's the moment to do a nice, great attachment with the child in this first stage of attunement play with the peekaboo.
Okay, the second type of play is body play and movement. So this is a great form of play that helps children understand a spatial or develop a special understanding of themselves and the world around them. Leaping in the air teaches us the effects of gravity. Dance teaches us the various ways that our bodies can move. It's very self-explanatory, but it's one type of play that we need to incorporate. The third type of play is object play. So playing with toys and objects develops problem solving skills. So for example, when we see that a child is trying to insert, let's say, a triangle into a round shape, you know, when they have to match the shapes. And when this child notices that he cannot insert it, he's going to try and keep selecting. He will be selecting or will select different shapes until he figures out what is the right shape that goes throughout the space or the hole that has that shape. So that's one skill in problem solving. It seems maybe insignificant, but for a child, development is a lot. And object play allows children to explore the functions of objects and to develop various tools. And one more detail, when we play with objects and we see children playing with objects, try to describe and name the objects so they, at the same time, while they're playing with it, they will learn the name and perhaps the what that item or material is for. We also have social play, very, very important. So social play is one of the most complex forms of play and helps children establish interpersonal skills, successful friendships, and relationships with other children and adults. We need to support our students in order to acquire proper social skills. And these skills are necessary to establish and maintain healthy relationships throughout a child's life.
Now we want to go with imaginative and pretend play. Whatever is done in a group or once, imaginative and pretend play is a starting point of creativity. If you see here the two examples already, as you know, and the first one is the two girls, they playing with the different toys in the house area. At the same time, they engaging and working together. And the second picture, we have, you know, the group of materials. We have vegetables, fruits, like you're ready to play the children. So that means the imaginative and pretend play, that's the moment when the child wanna developing all this great extension of children thinking. Wherever a child is playing house or hosting a tea party, like, you know, I wanna put a sugar, I wanna put a tea, I wanna have a cookie, this is a tea party, and he or she developing their own inner story. They wanna developing his own ideas, his own compliments, and they want to imagine more a lot of things and understanding his or her place in the world. That's the reason we say, you know, play also help preschoolers master the skill when they need for academic life. And in this moment is when they socialize, they working together with this imaginative and pretending play. Storytelling or narrative play. This is a moment every teacher they can do in the classroom when you read to the children's and you want to do the storytelling and the narrative play. Children love if when you read them a story. Could be the same story over and over, and we encourage the parents to read to the children too every night for 30 minutes and developing narrative play with a lot of imagination and fantasy. In this case, you know, if maybe we want to say this is the way the monkey do, we want to make the sounds of the cat, the dog, and make something the imagination go. And storytelling narrative play help children and adults gain an understanding of both ourselves and the others. Like here in the two pictures, reading a book to the children, but at the same time, you know, the children pretend later on Who wanna be the princess? Who wanna be the frog? Who wanna be the animals? We wanna pretend and we wanna give a life to this storytelling. Now we have creativity play. When we're talking about creativity, this is something so amazing because the children, they learning a lot with music. They learning at the same time, how to brainstorm. They're a playful situation. Tap into creativity use, then develop endurance pretend play. And this pretend play want to help them allow and extract finished ideas that and function and progress to the children's life. Like here, we have two pictures. And the first picture we see outdoor. They have a lot of materials, and the children they touching, they making noise, they playing with the instruments, with different kind of instruments. Could be some recycled instruments too, not necessarily need to be, something real instruments, because the children they developing a lot of creativity. And the second picture we have a children's playing different instruments in different times. Later on in a video, you want to learning how to play with the instruments with the children and create a little bit more the part of music at the same time, how to identify the different sounds, and the children they can guess. That's going to be in one of the videos later in the presentation.
All right, so the question is, or not the question, the statement is why play matters, the importance of play for children. So we have touched a little bit, and also on the video, the importance of play, because that's how children develop many skills throughout play. So children's play in playgrounds and classrooms support and provide the foundation for learning and development of motor skills, fine or gross. Play also nurtures imagination and creates a sense of adventure. Play allows curiosity, investigation, and discovering the world around them. During play, children develop and strengthen their five senses: seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling, and touching. Sometimes, depending on what the activity or the play consists of, you may or may not incorporate all five senses during that time, but they sooner or later will be part of throughout play and throughout the day. And through play, children can learn essential skills such as problem solving, which I mentioned, I gave an example a little bit earlier, working with others, turn taking, and sharing. There is a note that we included here on the bottom that says, an underappreciated sixth sense called proprioception allows us to keep track of where our body parts are in space, dance, and body movements. Okay, so we're going to move along. We're going to watch now a video. The name of the video is Children is Speaking About the Importance of Play, which is an amazing video, so we can see what they have to say. So let's appreciate their input, feedback, and the comments of the narrators. And as you watch this, we would like you also to kind of reflect a little bit in your practice based on what the children are saying. Okay, so as we saw in this video, which is very powerful to hear children expressing themselves about how they feel about play. One of the girls made a comment that I think it says it all. She said we need a little bit of um, more time to play. She wanted adults to know that we need a little bit more time to play. So as we have been saying, play should be in the classroom throughout the day and make it fun and have an intention about it so children can learn and you have more fun with them as well. So the teacher's role, let's talk about the teacher's role in learning by playing in the pre-K classroom. So this is some of the important roles of children, but it's almost like an endless list. So some of the teachers' role during play are you need or we need as educators to provide a scaffolding to support children's learning and development. We need to assist with problem solving. We have to question to help children expand on their ideas. We need to ask open-ended questions, redirect undesired behaviors. We're going to see a little bit of that in another video coming in a few minutes. We need to entice children into play themes, facilitate social interactions. We need to teach play skills to children who have difficulty entering into a play scenario. We need to narrate children's actions as they play a scenario, as the play scenario unfolds. We need to plan classroom environments carefully. That doesn't mean you have to do it all by yourself. Invite children to be part of it and talk about it and make decisions together. We also need to engage and create opportunities for higher level thinking. And we need to know our students in order to provide individualized support for development. I know that in many classrooms, teachers use the playtime for assessment, and then you could see, oh, I see that Johnny doesn't do this or needs help with this. That's what it means by individualize the support. You need to know your students.
Now we have the stage of play. Here, when we talk about the stage of play, we want to cover a lot from children, when the just newborn children's until the children's will be 5 years old. Like we see here so far in the picture. In the first picture, we observing the children's day exploring, and the second picture, we observing children's already, painting, drawing, developing fine motor skill, and engaging and focus and painting. The stage of play development. We have unoccupied play. This is from birth to 3 months. We have a solitary play from birth to 2 years old. A spectator onlooked behavior, 2 years old. Parallel play, 2 years on up. An associate play from 3 to 4 years old. And cooperative play, 4 years old and up. And play with rules, 5 years and up. Now we have here the social stage of play. Like we say, the first one is inoccupied play from birth to 3 months. The random movement that infants make with no clear purpose is the beginning of play. Now we have a solitary play from birth to 2 years old when children start to play on their own. Children do not seem to notice other children sitting or playing nearby during this type of play. Onlooker play, 2 years old, when children watch others play. The child who is looking may ask questions, but there is no effort to join the play. Parallel play, 2 years and up, when children begin to play side by side with other children without any interaction. They are paying attention to each other. One playing over there, I'm playing here by myself. Associative play, to 4 years old, when child start asking questions of each other, they have similar goals, but they are not friendless. And social play, 4 years old, when children begin to share ideas and toys and follow established rules and guidelines. Today, we have this social stage of play and as a handout. You can download. If you have any difficulty, we can email you. If you want more information about this social stage of play, you can go to www.encourageplay.com. But anyway, we have today in the handouts, you can download and keep it in your classroom.
Okay, so language and communication development during play. So we know that play is aids in the development of many things. Now, during play, and this is in regards to language and communication, children use language to interact with their peers. They use different tones and sounds to regulate their speech. And this is one of the reasons why you should incorporate puppets, because if you do it in the right way, when we use puppets, there are different tones of voices, to represent each character. Also, children develop new vocabulary. They improve their oral and written language skills. Here we have the girl who's reading by herself, and that's okay. If you need to support, so you get close to the girl to see if she's understanding, comprehending, or maybe you could help her to understand new words in that case. And here with the puppets, playing and utilizing different materials and things. Also for under language development, we say that the language used in play encourages metalinguistic awareness, which prepares the child for literacy in later years in a school. And children experiment with words and manipulate their use, meaning, and grammar. So definitely during play is something that you really need to incorporate. Here on these pictures, we see a boy who's playing with vehicles and looks like construction vehicles as well. And sometimes children like to play on their own, like the video said, and that's okay. And at that time, he may be in his own world, an imagination, creating his own dialogue or conversation, and that's fine. On the right side, observe the different ways how you could support children for language, in a fun way with different materials, recyclables. So like I said earlier, we have been saying, have it fun, make it fun for the children. And then when it comes to fantasy and pretend play, this is a rich and rewarding activity that helps children obtain, practice, and increase all kinds of skills. You should be part of it, but don't be in control necessarily. Go with the flow. So for fantasy and pretend play, when children do this, they could predict what happens next. They could negotiate. They could consider others' perspectives. They transfer knowledge from one situation to another, among themselves. They balance their own ideas with others. They could learn to develop a plan and act on it. I'm sure you have seen children, or if not, pay attention to their conversations during play. Many of them are already able to do that, develop a plan and act on it. They can also express and listen to thoughts and ideas of others, assign tasks and roles. Some who are more like leaders, they like to do that, and the make believe. So these are some of the skills that children will get during when it comes to fantasy and pretend play.
Drama and fantasy. When we're talking about drama and fantasy, so far we see here the two pictures. We have, recycled materials like Plus, we have construction paper, we have popsicle sticks, and they did a little finger puppet. At the same time, the other groups, they trying to pretend them. They have a rabbit hand, they have a queen and princess. And at the same time, we using props, hats, you can use clothes and toys to represent character in the story. You can do a pretend and play and creating imaginative setting. It's a great outlet for children because the children, they want to create his own ideas, his own character, the roles they pretending to take and the role of the children as a superheroes, or they can do something like, oh, they create, the character of animal using this drama and fantasy in every child. Play and creativity. Provide children with a variety of craft supplies, such as marker, construction paper, fabric, empty boxes, glue, button, scissors, sticks, and paint, and allow them to freedom to experiment and play. This is something like every child want to enjoy, and one of the things we encourage too is use a lot of recycled materials, and then you can provide for the children, and the children they can developing a lot of creativity, at the same time, this creativity take place in the process of using materials in knowing the same product. Sometimes they can change it, they can do it, they can open, they can close it, they can paint it, they can do a lot of art craft. This is where the child use his creativity and opportunity to open-ending materials too, all the time. So I try to use this as a great idea and play and creativity in the children's in the classroom. Music and dancing during play. When we're talking about music, we need to keep in mind the children respond immediately to music and anger to receptive during play, to experiment the joy and moving and dancing. That's the reason we say children thrive as a music environment. They like to be dancing, like we see in this picture. The children, they listen music, quickly they like to dance, and they love to experiment with the different instruments. Like this child in the picture is, playing the instrument. He's trying to see what's going on, the sound during the play, and hear the sounds they make this instrument. That's the most important thing. Later on, we want to see a video when we want to learn more ideas how to work with the children with the materials and musical instruments in the classroom.
Okay, so play, problem solving skills. I touched a little bit on that before. So during play, the child will explore their senses that help them in solving problems. Children can solve complex problems that arise as they play and learn visual and mathematical principles as well. And blocks and puzzles are excellent basic tools to provide children with opportunities to foster problem-solving skills. We see here a boy who's trying to connect those two pieces of the puzzle. And I mentioned before the example of a child trying to insert one shape, let's say a triangle, into a round shape. And then that's a skill problem solving when he figures out it doesn't go in. So he will move on and try to find the piece that will match the shape. I want to stop 1 second to ask Amy if there are any questions so far. We're halfway. We're going to move a little bit faster now so we can complete this on time. Amy, are there any questions right now?
Hi, Margarita. There are no questions. However, there have been a lot of great comments about creativity and what types of supports teachers can provide to children with play, a lot of emphasis on recyclable materials and interacting, that's one of the most important pieces. There has been comments about play helping in the development of not only vocabulary, but routine, that it's a great way to reinforce some of the rules. So that goes into more the socio-emotional and the independence and autonomy. that there's so many topics and so many things that can be incorporated into the classroom where children can play but still learn. And then, of course, you know, the elephant in the room, which is you know, one of the topics that unfortunately, you know, we really don't have a way to address at this current time. But I know, I think it's worth at least just mentioning it, that, you know, some of our attendees, you know, feel the concern about living in this time with, you know, COVID, and how that impacts, you know, children's ability to play as freely as they were doing prior. And all I can say to that is, like, we're with you. We understand that these are super challenging times, and that this is creating you know, challenges to your ability to do what you know is right for children, and for children to have their natural state of play and development. But, you know, just know that, you know, right now the main focus is keeping them safe and keeping one another safe. So, you know, we applaud you during this time. You know, you are definitely in the you know, the forefront of all of this, working with our children, keeping them safe, and still providing that support and development in the best way you know how. So you know, our hats off to you for that.
Thank you very much, Amy, for your support and telling us that. And thank you, everyone,
Thank
for
you,
their
Amy,
comments.
for your assistance.
Yeah. So moving on here, so math and science in play. Math and science should be everywhere. So simple things as bubbles, gardening. These are simple activities, you know, that we could plan. And again, as based on your comments that Amy just shared with us, you have to be inventive, and you have to say, okay, if I'm going to do gardening, let me see how I can do that now with the conditions that we live in these days. But you should be able to, it's a lot of creativity. We, as educators, we have to become very creative now, because it's different times that we're living. So things like bubbles and science, you know, they establish a foundation for understanding of biology and many other concepts. There are so many things that you could still do, even if it's in a one-on-one, in a small group, and keeping the social distancing. Here about science in sand and water play. So science provides children with discovery opportunities and to develop and use inquiry skills while playing with materials in the world, such as water, sand, rocks, natural materials, and measuring. They learn concepts of full, empty, float, sink, fill up, and pour out, using bottles, funnels, sieves, and other containers. So be inventive, and you should be able to do that even in keeping a social distances. It may not be the same, but you should be able to do that. Moving along, because we have to go a little bit faster now, Jenny.
Yes. Okay. And senses activity. This is something like we say children learning to their senses and touching, feeling. This is something like so special because touching, smelling, seeing, and tasting, hearing during play, they are experiencing a multitude of different sensations. So you can do activities in the classroom to encourage to the children and play, and they want to develop in the sense of activity, and this is the activity of sensopathic because it's covering the five senses. Play gross and fine motor development. Both gross and fine motor development. When we're talking about gross motor development, we know already is running, jumping, climbing, kicking, sleeping, and developing all his gross motor skill, and fine motor skill developing, painting, drawing, grasping, and developing occur during play, providing many opportunities for children to work on developing age-appropriate motor milestone. And when you see in these two pictures, and the first one, the children, they developing gross motor skill, they doing exercise, activities, developing all the body. And the second picture, we have children developing the fine motor skill. Play and cognitive development. Cognitive development occurs during play as the children discuss, collect objects, like we see here in the first picture. In this picture, we see the child is adding in the top of the other. Is collecting objects in the one place and putting one in the top of each other and take turns and share. And at the same time is developing and extending the children's thinking because it's a part cognitive developing. Adding and subtracting, matching shapes, patterning sequence, using ordinal numbers and some of the concepts being learning for every child and they enjoying are the most important thing and they have fun.
Okay, so play and social development. We already know that when playing with peers, children learn a system of social rules, including ways to control themselves and tolerate their frustrations in a social setting. And I just want to add that as educators, we need to support children in order for them to develop these skills. Because if we don't provide support, these are sometimes the children that we see that when they come to us in our classroom and we see that they don't have these social skills, they may create a little bit more, they may be a little bit more challenging because they didn't have the support to tolerate or to deal with frustrations and work as a group and with peers. So we have to be very supportive. We're going to watch this video. This is one of my favorite videos. It's the bakery supporting children to succeed in the dramatic play center. As you watch it, observe the all the dialogue, everything that takes place. There is a lot that goes on in this video, which should be helpful for you as you watch it. Try to reflect, how would you do something similar? It doesn't have to be exactly the same, especially now during these times that we are living. But maybe you could be creative and do part of it. It's a very rich video. Okay, this was a wonderful video. I hope you like it. I just want to emphasize, if you recall in the video, you may need to provide prior knowledge to your students about the topic in order for them to do things better or to even expand more in the way they're going to play according to the theme. Okay, so let's move to the next one. So guided play, the definition is a form of play where children explore within an environment that has been prepared by adults and or with guidance from adults. Again, this doesn't mean you have to do the whole thing. Invite the children to be part of it. There may be some components where you have to do it by yourself, some aspects of this. The characteristics of guided play is that adults choose play materials that encourage exploration, ask open-ended questions at key moments. Adults must follow the children's lead. The adults' roles are in support of children's choices, gently shaping children's behavior without taking over. So don't be in control. You're there to support, but let it go with the flow, okay?
Guided play language development. It's an equal effective method of enhancing conversation and communication skill, creativity, and competencies. It's a significant channel for literacy development that provides opportunities to children to engage in playful activities. Children reveal the concepts they know and explore the new ones during reading and writing. It's very important is we need to have a lot of reading materials in every area of the classroom and writing tools too. Adult intervention can build children's literacy, develop in addition to cognitive and effective psychomotor skills. It is advantage for both children and their teachers and caregivers to spend time and learn together. Because my job as a teacher, I want to do a parallel play with the children. I want to be the role model too for them. Guiding play, mathematics, and spatial skill. When we're talking about this math, children can solve complex problems that arise and they play and they learning and fun mathematics principle as well. Guiding play can also encourage learning of mathematics and spatial skill during the guiding activity. Constructing with blocks, like we see in this picture, the girl is building with blocks. At the same time, maybe I want a scaffolding later. I'm going to say, let's go building a castle. Children learning a special language, words like on the top, over, and between. Like we here, we have example, the two basket and a stick, the child is under, and you can practice these words with the children, and children developing two geometric shapes as the teacher scaffolds their interaction. The jobs of the teacher is interact with them and scaffolding all this great interaction. Developmentally appropriate practice during guiding play. Developmentally appropriate practice development provides supportful teacher guiding support, balanced with responding to children's choices and their self-direct initiative during play. Like we have here the first example in the first picture, and the little girl is playing with his teddy bear. She's pretending is a doctor, is checking the the teddy bear and engaging in a conversation. In the second picture, we have a teacher. She is developmentally appropriate in the child's eye level and talking to the child, engaging in a conversation in the children's eye level. That's one thing very important. When the children playing, you need to be in children's eye level all the time.
Okay, we're going to watch this video, preschool guided play, musical knowledge. There is not a lot of conversation going in between the child and the adult. However, pay attention to the comments. There will be some blocks with comments during the video. All right, so throughout this video, we hope you pay attention to the comments, and they should help you in your practice, your own practice. Okay, so the benefits of play, there are many, but some of them are that children explore materials, actions, and ideas actively and make connections on their own. Children establish interpersonal relationships and learn from one another. Children consider and investigate their own questions about materials, events, and ideas. Also, children are motivated to solve problems on their own. Children challenge themselves and one another to master new skills. And another benefit we pose here is that play promotes children's social skills, stimulates their senses of self-worth, and encourage collaboration. And in order for these benefits to apply to children, we also need to be there and support them. Other benefits of play is that play develops their physical, emotional, social, cognitive, and language skills, which children will use throughout their lives. It helps children learn, establish systems of knowledge, such as letter names and number operations. By scaffolding and supporting children during play, they master each level of the learning process to complete a task and offer support and suggestions when children appear stalled, discouraged, or frustrated. Here we see a teacher supporting children on the left side, whereas on the right side, we see a lot of independence while the children are building a tunnel and other things in this activity during play.
Now we have here ideas to create a rich play environment for learning. Like so far, we have the 4 areas. We have block center or block area. We have dramatic play, house area. And we have here the toy area and art area. We have these 2 noisy areas together and the quiet areas together. If you see already, everything is labeled, children's eye level, everything is colorful, well organized, easy access for the children. At the same time, you know, the children, they can go and if they playing with a block, they know how they want to put the block back. If they have this grocery store in dramatic play, because they can convert the classroom in something different. Like so far here is a grocery store. You can convert your classroom like in Dinoland, a shoes place, and anything. Anything could be a pretend play for the children. At the same time, put enough materials, enough books in every area, enough markers, crayons, and so far here in the art area, we have all the materials, you know, exactly in the boxes, easy to access for the children. Facilitate play. Engage to facilitate children's play. That's the teacher's job to make sure we want to facilitate all the time, provide props, different props that help children pretend, imagine it, create, explore, discover, and communicate as they play. Ideally, invite children to select the props, ask them, you need to have enough props for everybody, like this, everybody can have one. Schedule a large blocks of time for play, allow for benefits such as persistent negotiation, planning, problem solving, and cooperation to take place in the moment with the children playing. Power of play. This is so important. As a teacher of young children, we need to facilitate the most natural and innate teaching tools at our disposal, which is play. Because we know already so far when the children they play, they learning, because play is the vehicle of learning. Play is an effective way of learning in a fun-filled and joyful atmosphere. And when we say, again, play is vehicle of learning, and the children, they learning in every area where they play.
Okay, this is the last video. It's also a very rich video. The training station, a child created teacher. The teacher here facilitates different things. So let's appreciate. We may be like 3 minutes, a little bit behind the schedule, but I hope you could stay because this is a wonderful video. So once again, this was a very rich video, and I'm sure you notice how this play or activity incorporated all the developmental areas. So, and the teacher, this was another teacher that touched or mentioned that the importance of children having prior knowledge about the theme or the topic. We almost done. Just give us 1 or 2 more minutes. With the handouts, you will have a list of these videos so you can watch it again. So as a summary, let's remember that play is essentially a child's occupation. Play contributes to the ongoing cognitive, physical, social, and emotional well-being of the developing infant and young child. It is how they make sense of their world. And whether play is purposeful and self-directed or free and unstructured, it is a dynamic and lifelong process. When teachers and caregivers engage in play with their children, they have an opportunity to facilitate and reinforce the growth of their skills across several areas of development. So we have here concluded the presentation. These are 2 resources, 2 wonderful books that you could get with great ideas about play. And I'm going to move now to a reminder for those of you who were not able to, at the beginning, to upload the handouts. You will go here where the center, the arrow in the center, a little down, where it says handouts. So you click there and you should be able to upload the handouts into your computer in the PDF format. Please don't forget to complete the post-test of 3 questions and the training survey of 5 questions. It will go very quickly. We thank you again for being here in this presentation with us today. We have our contact information. If you have any questions related to this training, please send it to the email below, elcbtraining@elcbroward.org. We also have our contact information, Margarita, myself, and Jenny, who did this presentation with me. And below you have the information for our both managers for the program. Thank you very much again for your participation. We hope to see you in the next webinar, and have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, Miss Amy. You
Thank
want
you
to
so
say
much.
anything?
Thank you, Margarita and Amy, and was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank
Have
you,
a great
Jenny.
afternoon, everyone. And thank you for all of your great participation.
All right, thank
Thank you
you.
so much, everybody.
I'm going to leave the screen here in case you need to write down the information. And I will turn it off in like a minute, about a minute. All right, thank you.